The Columbus Blue Jackets, perpetually the fourth most popular team in a city that only has two professional sports franchises, enters this season with plenty of hope and promise, but not a lot of expectations. With a franchise that's so irrelevant, we would literally forget about them if they weren't firing that damn cannon after every single goal. What should expectations be for the Blue Jackets entering the 2025-26 season?
Forget me, for you should forget it. You're living in the past, man.
The Columbus Blue Jackets entered the 2024-25 season on the back of a tragedy. Obviously, the terrible loss of Johnny Gaudreau just a month before the season began. The team therefore made it their personal mission to play for him and dedicate the season to Johnny Gaudreau. And honestly, that might have been a tarnish to his memory. The Blue Jackets once again missed the playoffs in heartbreaking fashion by only 2 points. Despite being, in my opinion and the opinion of analytics, a much better team than the one that beat them out, the Montreal Canadiens. Roast aside, there were some legitimately positive steps last year for the Blue Jackets. Kirill Marchenko emerged as a legitimate superstar. Zach Werenski finally broke out to the point that he was a Norris Trophy finalist. Sean Monahan had the season of his life in memory of his fallen friend, and Adam Fantilli actually had a really good sophomore season, giving Jackets fans a lot of hope for his development in the future. While it was for sure disappointing to miss the playoffs when the season ended, the foundation had been laid for the Blue Jackets to have some sustained success going forward.
Don't turn your back on me. Let's get one thing straight. This is Shooter's tour. I've worked hard my whole life, paid my dues, and now it's Shooter's turn.
While there's a lot of promise for the Blue Jackets, it's still a bit of a work in progress up front. They don't have any game-breaking players as much as I do like how Marchenko and Fantilli have developed. Speaking of Marchenko, he is your stud up front and unquestionably the best forward on your roster for now. He's emerged not only as a leader on the ice, but in the locker room as well. He's one of the fan favorites for the franchise. His center, Sean Monahan, who had an incredible season after being a bit maligned bouncing around in Calgary and Montreal, obviously spurred by the loss of his good friend Johnny Gaudreau, Monahan had the season of his life. I just don't know if that's going to be replicable again this year. On the other side of those two is Dmitry Voronkov, a pretty effective offensive player who plays with a little bit of an edge, and sometimes he falls over too far. Despite some past friction with the Blue Jackets and hints that he wanted to leave, he looks like he settled in last year playing with Marchenko. Centering the second line is Adam Fantilli, who, like I said, had a great sophomore season, putting up over 30 goals. I was a little bit worried about him after his rookie year, given the injuries and the underproduction, but last year was a very encouraging sign for his development. And it helps that one of his wings is Captain Boone Jenner, who's coming back from an injury that kept him out of most of last season. He's also entering the last year of a contract that underpays him pretty heavily in my opinion, so it'll be interesting to see what he gets, especially considering there are a bunch of other young guys who are going to need extensions after this year as well. On the other side, you have Kent Johnson, who finally broke out after years of teasing with his ability, putting up almost 60 points. The question is going to be whether last year was an aberration or the start of his peaking development. Behind them on the third line, though, there's a lot of question marks. You have Cole Sillinger, who has broken out pretty nicely, put up 30 points last year, and is for sure a steady bottom six guy for them, maybe with some potential. Charlie Coyle brought in to kind of stabilize that middle six. He's got some veteran experience, but isn't going to be known really for his offensive production. And Igor Chinakhov, who's been injured, inconsistent, and now wants a trade. Good luck with that, buddy. I don't think that the Blue Jackets could get a bag of pucks for you. Another offseason addition on the fourth line in Miles Wood, along with Isaac Lundstrom, recently signed over from Anaheim, and Matthew Olivier, a pure character guy, which is exactly what you want on the fourth line. Still waiting in the wings and potentially ready to take a step into the NHL is Caden Lindstrom, who is the number 4 overall pick in 2024, and ditto for Luca Del Bebeluz, who got a look in Columbus last year and could look to find a permanent role for himself on the team this year.
All we hear is about their defense. They can't stop a nosebleed.
While I do have some concerns with how the Blue Jackets built their defensive core, you can't deny that it's one of the big strengths of their team. It starts obviously with Zach Werenski, who has quietly been one of the top 5 defensemen in the NHL over his career, and last year he got the big recognition for it based off his play not just in the NHL, where he earned Norris Trophy votes, but at 4 Nations as well. He is by far the Jackets' best player and the guy that they should be looking to build around, which is why I'm so relieved that they were finally able to get Dante Fabro, his defense partner, locked up. They got the dude for absolutely nothing, and he had a really good year alongside Werenski, so the fact that they were kind of balking at giving him an extension only to then lock him up to a pretty reasonable one is both frustrating and heartening at how it ended up. It's also disheartening because on the second pairing, you have a guy in Ivan Provorov who you had no trouble shelling out over $8.5 million to a year for a 7-year extension. Dear fucking God, Don Waddell, what are you doing giving him that much money at 28 years old? Provorov is a nice second pairing defenseman, but he's not somebody that you want to lock up for almost a decade. It is just baffling to me that he got that much money playing second pairing minutes. He'll be partnered with Denton Mateychuk, who's a fine young defenseman, but he needs time to develop, so I'm not sure why they're sticking him with a guy whose big issue has been consistency, and it's because if you put him on the third pairing, you would saddle him with Erik Goodbranson. Yes, that's right, I understand. That would be like shooting one of your prime young racehorses in the leg rather than just saddling him with a very heavy cart. And speaking of getting shot in the leg, good luck with having to carry Goodbranson, Damon Severson. I'm glad that you got the bag of a ridiculously big long-term contract from the Blue Jackets a few years ago, because getting paired with Goodbranson is going to require you to have to go through a lot of physical therapy and regular therapy. The Blue Jackets also have in the pipeline Jackson Smith, their first-round pick from this year, a guy I thought was a pretty intriguing pick to take at number 14, but I don't think that he's going to end up in the NHL this year.
Wait, it's not Goldberg. It's Wes. Here, take it. Thanks. The goalie!
In goal, Elvis has not left the building. That's right, Elvis Merzlikins returns to the Columbus Blue Jackets despite him being let's just say calling him a basket case would be very kind to him. Elvis has been a wildly inconsistent goaltender ever since he got to Columbus. That has not changed. He is still prone to making absolutely boneheaded mistakes, but his elite abilities and highlight saves still make him so tantalizing for Blue Jackets fans and management to try and sink their hopes to. Elvis will be backed up by 24-year-old goalie of the future, Jet Greaves, who tantalized fans with his performance in a small sample size, kind of like Elvis Merzlikins did back when he was backing up Steve Mason a few years ago. It's just another quarter in the merry-go-round as they put all of their hopes and dreams onto Jet Greaves and shove Merzlikins out of the organization, only to then realize that Greaves himself is a flawed goalie, tale as old as time.
You ain't gonna be able to hit them. They're too good and you suck something off.
Yes, sir, I sure do.
Dean Avison returns for his second year as head coach of the Columbus Blue Jackets, and honestly, there's not much that needs to be said about Dean Avison. He is the perfect coach to take you to a first-round playoff exit, but given Columbus's recent history, I understand why they would go with him. And at the very least, he's not embarrassing you publicly like Mike Babcock did.
Since you're new here, I'm gonna cut you a break.
Like I said, this offseason, the Blue Jackets made moves that were mainly designed to bolster their bottom six and add some depth, adding guys like Charlie Coyle, Isaac Lundstrom, and Miles Wood. Fine additions to be sure, but they're not going to rock the boat. What the Blue Jackets are really counting on is that their young players continue to develop and get better, elevating the team so that they can make the playoffs this year. They continue to build through the draft. As I said, that he took Jackson Smith at pick number 14 in this year's draft, and then took a horrible reach by taking Pyotr Andreanov later in that first round. The goaltender who I had a third round grade on and most people thought would not be the first goaltender off the board.
Pretty good. Pretty dang good, lads! Yeah!
I've been a Zach Werenski fan for years now, and I am so happy that the rest of the NHL has finally realized just how good this guy is. Last year, he put up career numbers, 23 goals, 80 points, positive Corsi player, a leader on that team, and a leader at Four Nations. Werenski is just an absolute gem of a player for the Columbus Blue Jackets, and they need to be building around him. And that doesn't just mean building out their defensive core. I'm talking about finding some guys up front who have some more finish to really convert those long-range chances that he fires on net. The Blue Jackets continue to develop and pump out good young players. I hope that Werenski sticks around and remains one of the leaders of this team long-term.
I'll give you a winter prediction. It's gonna be cold, it's gonna be gray, and it's gonna last you for the rest of your life.
The Columbus Blue Jackets came so close to making the playoffs last year. They were 2 points away. It should be easy for them to make it into the playoffs this year, right? Right? Unfortunately, I still have some concerns, namely in goal with Elvis and Jet. I don't love their top and forward talent, even though I hope that Marchenko, Fantilli, and the like continue to get better. And defensively, I worry that they could be one Zach Werenski regression or injury away from being in serious trouble. I think the Columbus Blue Jackets will still be in the mix this year. I just have a feeling that there's so many other good teams in the East, they're going to fall just short of getting a wild card spot once again.